Hey friends, this is Polly. In today's video, you will see how to make yarn wefts before making a wig for your BTS dolls. Just by changing a hairstyle, your doll would look much more adorable. I think it is worth trying because it's even relaxing to do. This method is what I first learned from Zekito. You can watch different videos on our channel about making girlish hairstyles. And in my tutorial series, you will learn to make popular hairstyles that many K-pop male members love to wear. Plus, as a beginner myself, I want to share some useful tips in detail for beginners from what I learned through trial and error. Here's what you need. As for the plastic screen mesh, I used drainage mesh that is commonly used for flower pot. This is easily cut with scissors like this. I attached the purchase link in the show more tab for your reference. Please carefully clean up if you have a family member with respiratory conditions because a bunch of lint will fall out of yarn and will be floating in the air. Let's get started. Completely remove the existing hair to make a perfect fit for the wig. I recommend plucking out the hair as I tell you. However, for those who feel that this is even a red tape, it doesn't matter to shave as short as possible like I did for my Jungkook and Suga dolls. So here we go. Fill a bowl with boiled water. Then submerge the doll into the hot water to its neck height. After 1 minute, the glue which had congealed inside the scalp will have been flexible. Now take it out, being careful not to burn your hands. Insert tweezers between the head and neck and gently lift the head up. You will need to slowly move the head in a merry-go-round rotation. But make sure not to bend it sideways too hard, otherwise the connector inside may break. The head is detached. Now we'll use this blunt tip of scissors. Put the scissors into the head. Then pluck out the existing hair by scraping the scalp from inside. You may not get it and struggle in the beginning, but if you try swinging the scissors in different directions, you'll find a point where the tip of scissors gets stuck. From the side to the back of the head, scrape along the line where the hair was originally planted. That is, in the horizontal direction. It's a bit challenging to remove the hair around the parting line. You will do the same, but starting from the forehead towards the crown of the head. If you've already repainted the face, take this method. Insert the handle of tweezers into the neck part to make room, and let in heated air for over 1 minute. The tweezers are heated too, so make sure to wear heat-resistant gloves on both hands. Slowly lift the head and pull it out. And before plucking out hair, you'd better heat the scalp with a hairdryer again. Avoid grabbing the face and instead hold ears or forehead to protect repainting. When you're done, this is optional, but take out the broken strands of hair using tweezers. You don't have to remove them all. And I also prefer removing this area of the neck connector with nippers because this makes it annoying to insert the head back. Now let's make yarn wefts. I wanted to change the other members' hair as well, so I ordered yarn in various colors. Here are some tips on which yarn to choose. Each yarn has different components. For example, this yarn says it's made out of 100% of the acrylic, while this one is a mix of 40% wool and 60% acrylic. Jimin's hair was made with this yarn I bought from a dollar store. It's the same as the first one, but softer. This thick yarn contains 80% of wool, so it's very soft. The more wool it contains, the higher possibility of snapping it would have while being combed. But you can't say it's always true because this caramel colored yarn contains 40% of wool, but it broke the most being combed. Whereas this yarn contains 80% of wool and it turned out a bit too dry but still in okay quality. So getting part of a yarn tested beforehand is important. Although all these yarns you see are 100% acrylic, the quantity and texture of their outcomes are all different. This red yarn feels bristly but gives more hair at the same time. The black one feels soft and the blonde one becomes curly after combing. It's kind of funny that this cheapest yarn from a dollar store was the winner in texture and length. After choosing a proper ball of yarn, let's transform it into wefts. Cut out cardboard into a piece about 8 cm long or longer. Then wind the yarn thread around the board. At first, I did this on a ruler measuring 15 cm, but it was a waste of yarn for the short hair. Cut one side with scissors, not both sides, but just where the thread begins. Now you have multiple strands. Fold the threads into half and tie each at one slot of the plastic mesh. Here steel wire can be greatly useful. After bending the wire, have it go through the mesh and hook the folded part of yarn. Then pull the wire and make a knot of yarn. You will need about 50 to 70 knots. Once you have finished tying enough knots, untangle the threads by using a comb like this. You can also use your hands instead. Then gently comb them using a pet brush. I don't recommend a comb like this for dog's facial hair. This is too fine to fit. While brushing, you'll get a bunch of these. Put these apart for future use, like when stuffing something. Now let's move on to ironing. I don't have a regular size straight iron with a thermostat. Instead, I use a mini straightener for my bangs. After heating it up, straighten the fluff yarn by pressing it hard and slowly pulling. Start right after the knots. This yarn here might burn if you do ironing over and over again, so what's best is doing it properly at once or twice. And voila! Didn't it turn out well? Now cut it close to the knots and spray the hair on a plastic sheet. Apply multi-purpose glue by using a flat brush. Flip it over and put glue again. Repeat this one more time. Each time it takes about 2 hours for glue to completely dry. So it takes almost 6 hours in total for gluing and drying. Did I just discourage you? I hope not. I recommend testing your glue on a small hair piece in advance. Otherwise, you might see the precious hair falling off from the wig while styling with water, and that will make you sad. For example, I have these 3 at home. This one is the cheapest and what I used at first, but it dissolved by drops of water even after completely drying, which ruined my wig. The second one doesn't specify whether it's waterproof or not, but it endures water to some degree. I think this is enough for a doll wig. And the last one is water resistant. You can see it blocking water nearly perfectly. Applying one type of glue is most used, but here's another option. You can first use cheap diluted glue to bind hair strands, then coat them with waterproof glue. So after gluing 3 times and drying, peel the webs from the sheet. Trim edges neat with scissors. Now you are ready for styling. Jimin wears his hair half swept banged quite often. Let's make one for him. After covering the head with cling wrap, draw guidelines with a marker. Put a dot at the middle of the crown and connect to where the side part begins. Then, starting from one ear to another, draw a vertical line across the first one. Make swirly lines on the top of the head like these. They're not that different from the lines the hair used to be planted along. And I'm not gonna make them at close intervals because I don't want this wig to turn big. Cover with a cling wrap once again and tie at the neck with an elastic band. From now on, we'll be using hot glue. Take extra care not to burn your hands. First, plug in the cord over glue gun and let the stick melt. Pull the trigger hard but slowly to push hot melt adhesive through the gum. Put the nozzle to the first row and move along the guideline. Swiftly affix a yarn weft and press on it, preferably with a stick, not by hands. Cut the first layer of hair into a gentle V shape like so, then chop off the corner. The haircut must be longer than the desired hairstyle. Now we'll be using the point cutting technique. Hold the scissors vertically and randomly cut the hair to achieve a more natural look. Once you're done, repeat the same things each time you glue on upper rows. Don't forget about sideburns. And the higher the rows go, the narrower you will cut the hair strings for faster work, as hot melt adhesive solidifies in a few seconds to 1 minute, which is both the pros and cons of using a glue gun. By the way, if you don't have, you can do the same with strong craft glue, but you gotta wait until it completely dries after every gluing. And here's another tip: using a toothbrush can be a simple but highly effective way of trimming doll's hair. Dip the toothbrush in water and drain it, then comb the hair with it before adding another row. Finally, we bleach the crown part. Cut the hair strings into shorter pieces, fitting the curves. Oops, it's badly unfocused. And you need to fill the front scalp too, just as we've done so far. Don't forget to cut by layers and trim by point cutting. Now we'll be using the folding technique for parting, and need to be a little bit more careful to make pretty part. Glue or webs along the part line, but this time in the opposite direction to where the hair falls over. To add tension here, overlap 2 other strings of hair. I had a bad picture for this, so I will show you this once again. 1 and 2 and 3 and fold. These strands with the side swept bangs. Give it a haircut and blend hair by point cutting, leaving them long enough hair to cover the eyes. Do the same to the opposite side. Glue and affix, and overlap another hairpiece. The second one is not gonna be folded, but flows over the scalp. Fold both sides and trim hair with scissors and the toothbrush dipped in water. Untie the neckband and strip away the cling wrap covering the head, and cut it carefully really close to the hairline. It looks like it needs his hair done a little bit more. I had these mini hair rollers at home, but you can use a cotton swab or a slim pen instead. Pull the bangs over his face and roll them. Leave it for a couple of hours. Although I tied a rubber band around here, I don't recommend using it directly on the hair because it left a pressure mark. Untie bands and unwrap. It seems the sides turned out really cool. Unroll the bangs and gently brush. Lastly, make the hair moist in over by brushing with water and put cling wrap around the head, but not the top of the head to maintain tension of hair by the roots. Leave it for a couple of hours and it's done. This video is my first tutorial. I'll be happy if this video helps you even a bit. Then see you polly soon.